Well, hello. Looks like our first callers are joining us on our Spanish simulcast broadcast. Thanks to those of you who are joining us in Spanish today. We appreciate you joining. Know that whether you're listening in English or in Spanish, you can press 0 to submit a question for Q&A at any time during this forum, and you can press 7 to get email updates from your Riverside County Supervisor, Ixtien Gutierrez, who will be joining us on the line in just a moment. Now, good evening and welcome to everyone to this live telephone town hall meeting with residents of Moreno Valley. Pretty soon we'll be joined by Riverside County Supervisor, Ixtien Gutierrez, who's going to be here to provide opening remarks and updates before answering your questions live tonight. So if you have a question in mind, please don't hesitate to press 0 on your phone and get your question to your operator. You can either ask your question live or, if you prefer, I can read your question over the air. Just make sure you let your operator know your preference if you want me to read your question. Otherwise, again, I'm happy to take your question live. And once again, it's 0 to submit a question for Q&A at any time during our forum. Tonight, we are dialing out to 60,377 residents of Moreno Valley in Riverside County District 5, and many of you have already registered to be called for these live forums with Supervisor Gutierrez. However, if you received this call and you haven't registered yet, you can always visit tthm.com/Riverside to sign up for future forums and to submit questions in advance. And many of you have already submitted questions that we'll be taking tonight. And then for those of you who did not get a chance to pre-submit a question, again, you can press 0 to get a question into the queue. And once more, if you want to sign up to get these calls regularly from Supervisor Gutierrez, go to tthm.com/Riverside and sign up. Now, Supervisor Gutierrez has invited Fire Chief Bill Weiser from our Riverside County Fire Department to help us discuss fire and safety prevention. We have Director Dennis Acuna from Transportation and Land Management and Riverside County Transportation Commission Executive Director Aaron Hick here to discuss roads and housing. And we have Workforce Solutions Director Heidi Marshall to discuss housing and homelessness. Now, we'll hear from each of them. We'll also hear from Supervisor Gutierrez along with those expert guests, and then we're going to spend the majority of this forum answering your questions. So again, as you listen, think about questions you want to submit for Q&A with our expert guest speakers and Supervisor Gutierrez, and then you can press 0 to get your question into the queue. We do want to focus on fire safety, roads, and housing tonight, so we'll prioritize those questions, but we'll take as many questions as we can in the hour that we have with you tonight. And again, you can press 0 to submit a question. If you don't want to go live with your question, let your operator know that you want me to read it over the air instead. And folks, remember, if you want to receive email updates from Supervisor Gutierrez, you can press 7 on your phone at any time during this forum to provide us with your email address so we can keep you better updated moving forward. So again, 0 for questions, 7 to give us your email. And with that being said, it's my pleasure to hand things off to your County Supervisor, Ixtien Gutierrez. Please go ahead, Supervisor.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Ian, for the introduction, and really appreciate doing these telephone town halls with you and all of our department heads and experts that are here tonight. They really do help us to engage the community, answer questions, and talk about various programs and projects that we have here in Riverside County. You know, the 5th District is a relatively large district. It's about almost 500,000 residents, larger than 41 counties, and includes 6 cities and 15 unincorporated communities. One of those cities is Moreno Valley, which is my hometown. I grew up in Moreno Valley my entire life, and I was the mayor there of Moreno Valley for 7 years. And now I get to serve the residents of Moreno Valley as your county supervisor. So just wanted to thank all of the residents for being here tonight. And the goal with these town halls is not just for us to come on here and talk, but for us to truly learn from you and hear from you. I hope that you can learn about our role in the community, what the county does, and similarly, that we can learn from all of you about how we can better serve you. In my role as your county supervisor, I have really made it a priority to actively engage with our community and have these open conversations. So to provide you with these opportunities to engage with us, we put together these telephone town halls. We have many great county leaders across various sectors, like was mentioned earlier by Ian. We have the one and only Fire Chief Bill Weiser from Riverside County Fire Department, our Director Dennis Acuna from Transportation, And we have our Riverside County Transportation Commission, very special guest, Executive Director Aaron Hake. And we have our Housing and Workforce Solutions, also known as HWS Director, Heidi Marshall here with her team, Stephanie Adams and Tanya Torno. I'd like to thank them for attending tonight. I'm excited to share with you some projects before we get to the questions. Just recently, we held two special events in Moreno Valley, one called the Justice Symposium. You're probably wondering, what is the Justice Symposium? This was an event where we brought in students, young people, young adults that need that second chance, and we provided them with opportunities of employment, housing, and ways that they can get back into society. And it was a great, great symposium, very well attended. We also had a Dad's Day event. And if you attended that event, it was last Saturday, and it was an amazing event for Father's Day to celebrate our fathers in Moreno Valley, but also throughout the 5th District. I actually had the event at the Moreno Valley Amphitheater, and it was so nice to be there and see all of you guys. And we also got to have activities for kids, nonprofits were there, and we put on a Captain America movie. I don't remember which Captain America it was, but it was the newest Captain America movie, and everybody had such a great time. We're going to continue to do these types of events more in Moreno Valley as well, because it is important that the county, engage with you all. For our programs, I did want to update you all that we do have the D5 Furry Pet Foster Program. This is a program where we will pay you to foster a pet. And guess what? Up to $50 a night for 2 pets. $50 a night for 2 pets to foster from the San Jacinto Animal Shelter. And that equates to basically between $525 to $1,050 a month that you can get in helping us provide a home to a furry pet and also have a companion for you. I did want to share that we have actually already fostered through this program 144 pets. 144 pets in just the last 6 weeks, and of that, 50 of those have been adopted. So it's been a very, very successful program, and I want to encourage more people to foster pets because I think it's a really important thing. Also, we've allocated an additional $500,000 for additional countywide employment programs, such as our Hire Local D5 programs, where we encourage businesses to hire locally. We do believe that hiring people here in town is better. And also, the money will go to youth employment programs as well. And just to share a little bit about those hiring programs, we incentivize businesses to hire residents here by providing them a stipend between $1,000 to $2,500 after 90 days of hiring that local hire. We also have various youth programs between the ages of 16 to 24. Some of these programs include our Youth Corps. So if you have a child, a young adult, or maybe you're someone that's looking for a job and you're a young person between those ages and you want to work for the county or the city or you want to learn about those agencies, we have a program called the Youth Corps. And this is where we will pay you to work in that assignment. And so it's a really great job. It's about almost $25 an hour if you break it down for 20 hours per week. And it's a wonderful opportunity there. We also have another program called the Youth Work Experience Program. And if you're looking to work in retail or at a private industry, like a restaurant, it's very similar to that. We will place those young adults in those assignments as well. And we provide them similar pay for up to 3 months. And so speaking about youth, I did want to say that we've allocated many different programs, actually a lot of funding for nonprofits to support our young people, like with backpack giveaways and school giveaways. We've also launched our Tech on Wheels program. And if you might have seen us at the mall, the Moreno Valley Mall, the Edgemont Senior Center, the Moreno Valley Senior Center, or even some of our HOAs, these are 2 vans that park at those locations, and we provide technology services to seniors or anyone that's in need of technology. So maybe you need a little bit of help with your iPad or your phone. We'll provide free technology services, including internet access and training. So as you can see, we got so much stuff going on in the 5th District. It's always been an honor to serve as your county supervisor these past 3 years. and I'm truly, truly excited to share with you some of the projects and programs that we have related to fire safety, roads, and housing and homelessness. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to our Riverside County Fire Chief, just to give a little introduction about what you do as our Fire Chief. And that's Fire Chief Bill Weiser, and then we're going to take questions.
Thanks, Supervisor. It's a pleasure to be here at your town hall meeting again. We always have a good time when we're together on this, and it's always interesting and wonderful to hear from your constituents in your district. Always good stuff. So, as you said, I'm the Fire Chief for Riverside County Fire Department. We have 98 stations, and we have 19 cities that contract through fire services as well.
Which is Moreno Valley, one of them, right?
Moreno Valley being one, Banning, Beaumont, those places as well. So, my 44th year in the fire service, and so we're enjoyed the job for the whole time I've had it, and I've been the fire chief for 5 years coming in August.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, no, thank you for sharing that. The city of Moreno Valley contracts with Riverside County and for the firefighters, and I believe the city of Moreno Valley has, I think, 5 or more fire stations, right, Bill?
Yeah, they do.
Around there?
I think it's 6, but I have to count them on my hand.
Okay.
I have to start stalking which ones are which.
No, that's great.
But when I first came here to the county in 1986, Moreno Valley was just naming itself, and so it had a few stations. It's pretty interesting. It's really grown over those years. It's amazing to see this county grow as much as it has.
And especially a medic squad to get to more response times, right?
Sure.
To improve the response times. So
absolutely. Our engines are medic engines as well. We've had all those things. Awesome. You were there making some of those things happen when you worked for the city.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. So we'll go ahead and go to questions, and we'll go to maybe some fire-related questions. Let's go ahead. Ian, any questions related to fire?
Well, we're waiting on a question. I think it's a great thing for us to talk about. We've got a couple of things. I'm sure there'll be a question. We won't ask the fire department something, but let's remember the 4th of July is coming.
Yes, you're right.
And in this county, we only use safe and sane fire. We don't have any fireworks. So safe and sane is not legal. No fireworks are legal, just the big fire shows. Moreno Valley's got a terrific show. You can go on rivco.org and see where all those fireworks are, as well as any city where you live in. Let's remember, you were talking about pets just a minute ago, and we want to be respectful that have pets. It scares them badly, as well as let's remember also the men and women that serve valiantly in the service. We know that veterans also, the noise, the explosions, when they're close to their homes, it's not good for them either.
No, it's not.
Let's take all those things. Fire safety, our pets, and of course the wonderful veterans that work for us. Let's be respectful, and let's make sure we go to the public fireworks displays, which are wonderful to see, and they're fabulous.
And that fire show that's city-sponsored is going to be on the 4th of July, by the way. There's a parade in the morning from 9 to 11 a.m., and then right after that is called the Fun Fest, which is from literally 1 o'clock to 9 o'clock at night, and that's going to be at Moreno Valley City Hall, where the amphitheater is. So 1 o'clock to 9 p.m., and then the fireworks show starts around 8 p.m., pretty much when it gets dark. It's a wonderful, wonderful show. Now, Mr. Fire Chief, you had mentioned no safe and sane.
Yeah, you can't. So none of the fireworks that are.
So no fireworks.
No fireworks. So
no fireworks.
So people make that mistake of bringing safe and sane in from other counties, and they're still illegal here at Riverside County.
Yeah, they're still illegal. Yep. And our county is actually, we just approved at the board about $100,000 marketing campaign to really educate the public about not doing fireworks.
Yes.
So, yeah, absolutely.
We're involved in it every year. It's something that we try to promote every year, and I think that...
It's gotten better, too.
It has gotten better, and I think that people are able to go to those really terrific shows, and they're exciting to watch. You've got music. There's things for the kids, usually. There's all kinds of stuff at those public shows, and it's really a lot of fun and family-oriented. It's good. It doesn't make a fire. It's a good thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, sir. Well, thank you for that. So, Ian, I guess we'll go with some questions maybe related to fire, if you can.
Sure thing. Let me get our first question up. It's going to come to us from Samantha, who is one of our web registrants. And again, folks, if you want to register for these calls in advance and submit questions in advance, you can go to tthm.com/Riverside. Samantha's question is this. She asked, what will the county be doing about fire safety and enforcement during the 4th of July holiday? And again, that's from Samantha there, Supervisor.
Well, that's a great question from Samantha in terms of fire safety and enforcement. And I believe there's fines, right, Bill? And then some of these fines get even bigger.
They do.
Right.
From $1,000 to $5,000. There's a lot of fines. And the sheriff's department, working with the fire department and code enforcement, we all work together in trying to do our very best to go out and enforce the laws that are on the books when it comes to illegal fireworks. As you know, the sheriff's department have a number to call specifically when it comes to illegal fireworks, Samantha, and I know that the supervisor and their staff will put it on their website and make sure that it's shared with everyone. It's also on the sheriff's website as well as Realco website as well.
Yeah, in fact, you can even report the fireworks. If you hear any of the fireworks, also on mobile.org/fireworks website.
Yep.
Or like the chief mentioned, just the Moreno Valley Sheriff's dispatch at 951-247-8700, and then press option 5. The city does also have a fireworks task force that includes our sheriff deputies and CAL FIRE officers there as well. But yes, no, it's very important, Samantha, that we work very hard during this season to prevent these fires. You know, we have dry vegetation, you know, in the area, and it's really important. And as the chief mentioned, also too for our furry friends and also our veterans as well.
Yeah. Wow.
So thank you, sir. Okay, next, Ian.
All righty, got another fire question loaded up here. Let me get this one in from Brian. And Brian's asking, how do most wildfires in our region start, and what can be done to prevent them? So again, Brian's question is, how do most wildfires in our region start, and what can be done to prevent them?
And great question. So I'm going to turn this one over to our expert, Fire Chief Bill Weiser, to address that one.
Yeah. So
how do they start?
Yeah. So most of our wildland fires are started accidentally with equipment, and second, they're started on purpose, where people are careless and negligent in their actions and start fires, whether they're doing.
So is that arson?
Machinery.
Is that what's called arson?
Sometimes it's also using machinery incorrectly, doing illegal welding, grinding. Even though we have fire prevention as well, we ask people to mow down their weeds. It's important that you do it during the right time of day. There's been fires that also start from people that are using metal blades in either their mowers or their like weed whackers. And they'll hit rocks and they'll start a fire during the middle of the day. So when we do that mowing, we want to make sure we do it in the morning.
And I think that question is probably coming up because of what happened, you know, in Los Angeles and some of the concerns. And I think as a county, we're very, I think we're going to be more prepared too, because we also have in our district we're funding generators, backup generators with EMD, Emergency Management Department. And we're going to provide these backup generators to these various public facilities, and that will help with shutoffs and those kinds of things related to that.
Well,
but go ahead.
You know, Supervisor, let's also remember that you spearheaded us putting in helihydrants. Well, not Moreno Valley,
right.
but more in the pass area right now, right? We just had our first grand opening of our first one.
We did.
Which allows us to use aerial assets quickly. Remember, you were the one that brought that forward and trying to make that whole thing kind of working with San Antonio Water District and making that go on.
And Mr. Fire Chief, can you tell us a little bit, I mean, that term, helihydrant, what is that?
You know, it's...
And that is something that we did, but what is that?
It's a 10,000-gallon tank that's above ground that allows any of our helicopters to turn on. They use a radio signal, and it starts filling it up within 7 minutes. And then any helicopter can come in, and we call it suck the water out. Or
like a vacuum.
Yeah, it's like a vacuum. It's a big hose that comes out, fills up the tank. Our helicopters have 1,000 gallons on board, and they can go and fill it up quickly, their helicopters, and then immediately respond closely to fires. It allows them to refill and get to the fires quickly. Great community benefit. And
so the point of that is to respond to the fires faster, right?
Yeah,
is that why
turnaround time is so much faster. In places we don't have water, you think of the past, they gotta fly away to go get water, and that is a great turnaround. working closely with the water districts, so they're the ones that know where their water mains are, that fill those things up in time. Great tool. As you know, we have 2 heavy helicopters right out of him at Ryan.
Yes.
So they respond quickly and are able to start putting a lot of water on those fires. It's a really good thing.
Thank you, sir. And just to let the public know, these helihydrant pads, it's not something that you find in every county.
We don't call them pads now. I told you.
Okay, hydrant. Okay, thank you, sir. Okay.
You keep calling them pads.
Okay, these helihydrants, right?
That's it.
Okay, so we don't necessarily, they're not in all the counties, right?
No.
Right? I mean, so it's San Diego County, and I believe there was one in Jurupa, which was part of Riverside County. But now, through our office's funding, we allocated $1.8 million to our fire department. And by doing that, we now have 7 helihydrants. And I'm going to say pads. But
they're planned. The helihydrants are planned. Now, we've got 2 that are built and more being constructed.
Okay,
right?
Great.
Using funds that you made available to make that happen. It's terrific.
Yeah, no, awesome.
I love it.
Thank you, sir. And so those are the things that I think are going to better prepare us, if these fires come about. I think that, so I appreciate that answer. Thank you.
Sure.
Bill. Okay. Ian?
All right. Thank you again. And we'll be going to Claudia in Moreno Valley next. Then we've got Rosie, who's listening in our Spanish simulcast broadcast. We'll get a little off of the fire topic. But folks, remember, if you have a question you want to submit, press 0. Get us a question. Talk to an operator. Let them know what that question is. And we're going to be taking questions for the next 38 minutes here. So we'll take as many as we can. Our next one, again, is coming to us from Claudia, who's asked me to read this one, Supervisor. She says, for the fire chief, will there be any certification classes available to start preventing fires like the one that broke out in L.A.? As someone who resides in Moreno Valley, I feel that more people who have these certifications, the safer our community will be. Fire chief or supervisor, anything you can think of for Claudia here?
I think she might be referring to maybe CERT training, or I don't know, Mr. Fire Chief, if you have some other types of trainings that you do to help with prevention?
No, really the only thing that we do is our CERT training for the public to be able to do that.
Can you
and that's an acronym, right, that stands for allowing citizen emergency response teams and to allow people to really help out more when there is an earthquake or those kind of things, that allow people to respond and help be involved in their community, providing medical attention, providing those kind of deals. Well, I like Claudia's question, and I do. I think the most important thing is that as a public, that we're all vigilant. And that when we see something, say something. When something doesn't look right, somebody's down the street that maybe shouldn't be, and it seems suspicious, and say something. That's part of the thing, someone that may be doing something. As you know, firefighting is a profession which specialized equipment, gear, and a lot of training. And so it's not something that we take easily with taking the public into. But we have a terrific volunteer reserve program, growing it every day, taking young people and people throughout the community to be volunteers in the fire service. And our reserve program is really what we're building. It's something where there's still lots of training to be able to go do that.
And this year, as a board, we've allocated more funding to the fire department.
No, you sure did. Yeah, you did a lot of things to the fire department. You put about $17 million into the fire department. We've got some, new equipment that'll be put online. This board is always supportive of those.
That's great.
We don't have any of those kind of issues. Most of the money allocated is not only for some frontline positions, but also some support positions, which are just important mechanics, people to make sure that our fire equipment runs.
Great. No, thank you. And then I just wanted to also add this part that, like the fire chief mentioned, you see something, say something. But you can also, the city has a wonderful app that I even have downloaded, the City of Moreno Valley mobile app, and you can even report fire concerns there, or possible code violations. And I like to tell people, if you see, vacant land that maybe it's very dry, report it. It's very, very important you report it, because then code enforcement and the city can actually go out there and do that enforcement. So appreciate it.
All right. Thank you again. Appreciate that answer. Thanks again for our last question coming to us from Claudia. We'll go to Rosie, listening in our Spanish simulcast broadcast for our next one. She asks, what are you going to do to help our immigrants in our community? Please protect human rights and uphold the values of the Constitution. That one's from Rosie, listening in our Spanish simulcast.
No, thank you, Rosie, and I understand that concern. I'm an immigrant to this country. Not a lot of people know that, but I am, and my parents are as well, and loved ones, my neighbors, and it's very concerning. And nearly a quarter of our county's population are immigrants, and we have a lot of families of mixed status, mixed households, and so it's a very important issue. One of the things that we did as a board is we allocated resources by creating a website with various resources for the immigrant community. If you go to rivco.org/resources and then click on immigrant resources, you will see there a list of all types of programs and resources that are out there, and nonprofits, and even just other ones that the county is supporting. And I would just encourage anyone with any of those concerns to do that. As you know, immigration is a federal issue. It's outside of my jurisdiction. So what I can do is just advocate for our community and provide resources for that. Thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor. Thanks again to Rosie for that question. And our next one is going to come to us from Armand, who's asking, why do you keep shutting off my power? And I'm wondering if there's been any outages that you can talk about here that might even be related to fire safety.
Okay. No, thank you. And what was his first name, Ian?
Armando.
Armando. Okay, well, thank you, Armando, for that question. In terms of the power shutoffs, I think that was kind of happening a few months ago, and that was more because of SoCal Edison. So we don't control, the electricity. It's done through Edison, and sometimes they do that for safety reasons to prevent, areas that are at risk of fires. And so one of the things that I'm working on right now, which I mentioned earlier, is with our emergency management department, is to launch several backup generators so we can have some of these, like, for example, at our Moreno Valley Parks and Recreation building and some of our public facilities for people to have that. It's better than not having anything, right? So we're working on that with EMD for this year to launch many of those backup generators as well.
All right. Thank you again.
Before we go to another question, and before we have so many other great guests here that are here,
yes.
I just want to make a quick shout out because we dealt with this a couple times already this last week. I want to ask all your constituents to please remember pool safety with little ones. We've been having some drownings with little ones, so remember when you have little ones in the pool or near water, make sure there's an adult that's watching all the time. Never let a minute go by without an adult being there to ensure that we're watching and taking care of those little ones, and even ones that maybe aren't so little. So have an adult supervising when the kids are there, and that's their job. They're not on their phone. They're not doing anything else. They're watching. No,
actually, my nephew is in swimming classes now over at Valley View High School this summer, and there were even some free ones that they have and through First Five, and it's a really great program. So I highly encourage, and like the fire chief mentioned, even though you have, your young one, swimming, you have to be out there with them. You can't just let them be by themselves. Sounds pretty easy, but sometimes we get used to that, right? And, they're just swimming, and even if they have a life jacket, I would just still be out there with them.
Yeah, it's silent. They drown silently. They don't make noise. They don't scream at you. It's silent. So get off that phone. Watch your kids when they're in the pool.
Great.
All right, thank you again. And we're going to go back to our phone audience here. Michelle has asked me to read this one. She says, what kind of program will you do to help keep people from becoming homeless? I'm about to be homeless. I'm disabled, and my disability insurance is about to end, and I won't be able to pay rent. Supervisor, that's from Michelle. Okay.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that, Michelle. Thank you for calling in and or submitting your question. I do have Tanya Torno here, who is our Deputy Director of the Continuum of Care, which is basically the agency that kind of is the lead agency in addressing homelessness. Tanya, can you kind of share a little bit about maybe what kind of resources we have for people like Michelle?
Absolutely. Michelle, thank you for calling in and for your question. We are very fortunate in Riverside County to have homeless services that are largely funded and supported through our board and Supervisor Gutierrez's office, which allow us to provide housing assistance in addition to supportive services to individuals who are at risk of homelessness and even those who are experiencing homelessness and living on the streets or at an encampment. To obtain assistance, we have developed a hotline where you can call and be connected to a housing navigator who will obtain more information about your situation and help you connect to the proper resource. That number is 1-800-498-8847. Again, that number is 1-800-498-8847. And I want to acknowledge that while this is a county-sponsored program, we are very fortunate to have strong partnerships with other county departments like behavioral health, adult services, but also our nonprofit providers who are embedded in every single city and even cover our unincorporated areas and truly make these services available to all of our residents.
Thank you again. Appreciate the answer. And we're going to go to Virginia live next here. And it looks like Virginia is okay going live with her question. Virginia, welcome to the call. What's your question for the supervisor and our guests?
Hi, Virginia.
Hi.
Hi.
My question is, there's a lot of homeless here in Moreno Valley. And a lot of them do start fires with the dumpsters and all that because you can drive by and see burnt dumpsters.
Mm-hmm.
And before, if you were homeless, and I understand when you're homeless, but they had a program before that they could work for the city, like cleaning the freeways or whatever, for that money that they get. Because me, I'm a senior citizen. I don't have the luxury to get food stamps, and I'm on Social Security, and sometimes my money goes low. But then I see people with food stamps and all that with their cards full.
Well, thank you for your question and comment too. One of the issue with addressing homelessness is quite complex. It's something that we've been working on even when I was mayor of Moreno Valley as well. One of the things that we implemented at the time was the Homeless to Work program. And I think that's what you're referring to when you said that you used to see people that used to work with the city in cleaning and I think you mentioned ramps or on-ramps or around there. That program is still in place in the city of Moreno Valley. So what I'm going to do is reach out to them to make sure that you know about that program. And then also, I encourage you to let us know to specific areas where you do see people that are unhoused, because we can go and target those areas with our street outreach team and tell them about the Homeless to Work program, where we put them to work in beautifying or cleaning the community. I've also expanded that program, not only in Moreno Valley, but now throughout my district in the Pass area, which includes Banning, Beaumont, and the Calamasa area. So definitely, we'll follow up on that some more as well. And absolutely, seniors are on a fixed income, so it is a concern for many, and cost of living right now is a major concern. So I would love for my staff to connect you with some more resources there, and we'll definitely reach out to you. Thanks, Virginia, for calling in.
Thank you, Supervisor. And we're going to go to our first survey question. So, folks, you can vote on these on your phone. We do appreciate your feedback. We want to know, what projects would you like us to prioritize? Press 1 if it's beautification projects. Press 2 if it's affordable housing projects. Press 3 if it's road improvement projects. And press 4 if it's something else. So again, what projects would you like the county to prioritize? Press 1 if it's beautification projects, 2 if it's affordable housing projects, and 3 if it's road improvement projects, 4 if it's something else. Go ahead and vote now. We'll have a few more polls as we go through the rest of our call, and we do appreciate that feedback. A reminder here that if you want to get email updates from the supervisor moving forward, you can press 7 you can press 7 to speak to an operator and give us your best email address so we can keep you updated on some of these subjects that we've been discussing tonight moving forward. So again, 7 to give us your email, and of course 0 to give us a question. And one more reminder here that, I did want to give a shout out. So Michelle, you had your concerns about becoming homeless. The supervisors had us flag you for follow-up from his office, so they're going to reach out in the next couple of days and try to provide you some direct support, so you can expect a call. Let's go ahead and go to Eileen next in Moreno Valley. Eileen, you're live. Go ahead, please.
Yes,
hi, Eileen.
Hi. Hi, good afternoon. Hello to everyone.
Hey. Yes, good afternoon.
Hi. I just have a couple of questions. I did want to get a few phone numbers of the programs that you mentioned earlier when you first went on. But I do have also a couple of questions. One of them is the homeless population that seems to have multiplied, increased at a significant rate since I moved here 18 years ago.
Yes.
It's so severe, and obviously it's not that it bothers me as much as it worries me. If these individuals, these people, obviously don't have a place to live, what are we doing for them? And secondly, my main concern is because we're coming into these high temperatures, do we have, or I'm sure we do have, but where are the cooling centers so that they can go to? I used to work here at the County of Riverside on Heacock, and that area is, they spend the night right there. So I know you mentioned earlier that if there's an area that needs to be targeted, and I believe that area right there, they go in just for the cooling, just to be in a cool place. But yes, that is one of the areas that maybe a lot of people may need assistance to get. You mentioned homeless to work or something, a program that assists them to become employed. So that would be an area that I think would be most useful at.
No, sure, and I would just say. Yes, one of the, I grew up here my entire life as well. I think with the population increase and just other factors in general, we have seen that uptick, throughout the last, 18 years. So that absolutely is a fact. In terms of the place that you're talking about, I know that place exactly. It's right off of Heacock, and it's the DPSS building. So it's our Department of Public Social Services building. And I have seen as well in that area. So I appreciate you reaching out and letting us know. And so we're going to open up a case on that, so we can send out our street outreach teams to that specific location and let them know about the different services that Continuum of Care has, our homeless programs and things like that. In terms of cooling centers, I do know that our Moreno Valley Senior Center and our golf, it's called the Moreno Valley Golf Course Center, our cooling centers, and also our libraries, where we have the main Moreno Valley Library and then also the satellite libraries, one included in the Moreno Valley Mall, and then also off of Iris and Paris. There's another library branch there. So a lot of the public facilities are cooling centers as well. But thank you for those questions and concerns. I don't know if you had anything else to add, Heidi, or. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say the development projects.
Oh, yes, and then Heidi mentioned also that we've had several development projects that we're working on, some housing projects as well. But did you have another question, ma'am?
Yes, I do. I know that the survey, they just asked about a survey about what main topics we are concerned about. And one of them was, I was tempted about is beautification of the city. And that is wonderful. I would love that for our city. But I noticed that the beautification happens in other areas other than mine. Yes, exactly. So how do you know when projects are going to, they're going to work on roads
I
here.
recommend. Yeah, absolutely. I recommend, to be honest, the best way to do it, because they have an amazing program and staff that do a great job, is their social media. So if you go to the City of Moreno Valley Facebook and just follow their page, they usually a week out, maybe 2 weeks out, they'll post some of the beautification events. I also would encourage you to reach out to your local council member too, just to let them know that, your area needs a little love, for some beautification, and or even if you have an idea, of an area of a park or something like that, I also recommend that as well. But we'll follow up with you too, just to kind of hear from you, whereabouts, that you live in the city. So we'll call you directly on that, and then we'll connect you with the city staff there. Okay? And I think now we're going to take some questions related to, I believe, roads and...
Indeed, yeah. Let's get one of these roads questions lined up here. And just a reminder, everybody who pressed 7 to give us your email address, we just cleared that queue, so it's empty right now. If you wanted to give us your email address to get updates, press 7. Our first question on roads, this is coming to us from Aaron in East Moreno Valley. Aaron, you're live. Go ahead, please, sir.
Hi, Aaron.
Aaron, can you hear us? All right, let me go ahead and read his question.
Okay, can you hear me?
Oh,
I'm here.
Yeah, we're hearing you.
Can you hear me? Okay, great. Hey, good afternoon, Supervisor and the rest of the team. Thank you guys so much for putting on this forum. Please continue. It's a great avenue to get things done here in Moreno Valley. So again, my name is Aaron. I'm a resident off of Hammett Court, a member of Crossword Christian Church. Been here for about 20 years. Hey, my street is, I'm trying to figure out how do we get, the safety bumps. It's summertime, the kids are out playing, but, the teenagers are out as well. On our street, they have, these motorbikes, and they continue to go up and down the street. I've actually videoed them, going 50 miles an hour, because it's uphill, downhill, and they're just having a good time. But my concern is we've tried numerous times to get the safety bumps so that it would prevent them from doing that, but to no avail. I don't want to get them due to bloodshed or horrible accident. What can we do to get some safety bumps on Hammett Court?
No, thank you. And I have that street down here, Hammett Court. So I'm writing that down so I can follow up with the staff there. But basically, and I don't know if you've done this already, but what you do is once you reach out to the transportation department there at the city, they will send you, it's kind of like a packet, and you have to get certain signatures, a certain amount of signatures on that street saying that they support the speed bumps. And then after you have those signatures, you submit it. And then what they'll do is a meeting, a community meeting, where you since you're the main person, the proponent they call it, so the person actually spearheading it, they'll work with you, and then they'll send out a notice letting all the residents know about that community meeting. They usually meet right on the street there, and then and just kind of let them know like where they would actually place them. But there is a budget every year per council district that gets allocated. So we would be more than happy to help you with that process. I'm very familiar with it. And we'll go ahead and follow up. My staff will go ahead and follow up with you on that.
Much appreciated. And Supervisor, I'll go ahead and flag Aaron for follow-up from your office as well. We're going to go to Cassandra in Moreno next. And looks like Cassandra wants me to read this one. She asks, could you touch on helping youth with getting better job placement with the city? So again, with youth getting job placement with the city, that's from Cassandra, Supervisor.
Yeah, no, I think one of the, well, that's a great question, Cassandra. One of the things we have right now is the Youth Corps program, where we're actually placing kids between the ages of 16 to 24. Sorry, that one is 18 to 26 because, they have to work in a city or a county department, and we will pay them. The county will pay the city to have those students. And in fact, Moreno Valley, the city of Moreno Valley has decided and they're working on an MOU with us right now and CFLC to have some students in the city departments. So it's a great program, and we would be happy to reach out to you to kind of tell you a little bit more about it and the application process. It's relatively pretty easy, and it's called the Youth Community Corps program, Youth Community Corps, or YC.
Perfect. Thank you. And let's go ahead and run our second survey question. Then we'll have our next question from our listening audience. Our next survey for you is, how do you prefer to receive information about events and ongoing initiatives? Press 1 if it's social media. Press 2 if it's email newsletters. Press 3 if it's Nextdoor. So again, how do you prefer to receive information about events and ongoing initiatives? Press 1 for social media. Press 2 for email newsletters. And press 3 for Nextdoor. Go ahead and vote now. We'll have a few more surveys before we get to the end. We're going to get to our next question. This one was submitted to us by one of our web registrants. It's from Marissa, and she's asking, traffic on the 60/10 is awful. What are you going to do to fix this? Supervisor, that's from Marissa asking about traffic on the 60/10.
No, that's a great question. And I think what she's referring to is probably going eastbound, westbound on the 60 towards the 10 freeway. It does get backed up, especially if there's like festivals and those kinds of things. And I know recently through the Riverside County Transportation Commission, I had the opportunity to vote on a project to assist with that. I do have our executive director from RCTC here, and I'm going to ask him if he could make some comments about that project that we voted on. I believe it was the express lanes, but also if you can talk a little bit about some of the other projects that we're trying to do on the 10 freeway as well. That would alleviate the congestion.
Yes. Well, thank you, Supervisor, and thank you for providing this forum for people to ask. Traffic is on everyone's mind, and including yours, Marissa. As many of the others that you're driving with there on the 60 and the 10, whether you're coming from Moreno Valley or coming from the east in the desert or the pass. So there are a number of projects we are working on the 60 and the 10 to try to relieve congestion on those freeways. The ones that the supervisor was just talking about refer to some longer-term projects that they'll take some time, but as the region grows will become more critical. The first one we're looking at is to improve the interchange at the 79 and the 10, just east of that 60 and 10 junction you spoke about. You may know that as people are coming up north from the Hemet and San Jacinto area, they flood onto the 10 freeway, and there's a lot of traffic in that area. And what we've found is that a lot of the traffic on the 10 in that area is created by local traffic, people going from on-ramp to off-ramp.
Interesting.
And it gums up that mainline freeway of people just trying to get through. And so what we're trying to do with that 1079 interchange, with the new Potrero interchange, you may notice the new bridge that went over the 60 a couple years ago, just on the east side of the Badlands, and with the Highland Springs interchange that we're working on, is we're trying to improve the circulation of people getting on and off the freeway, getting them onto city streets, and keeping traffic moving smoother on those city streets to hopefully keep them off the freeway. In the meantime, we're also working on some technology projects, particularly ramp metering, putting those stoplights at the end of the ramps to more carefully allow cars to come onto the freeway. As you may know, there's not a lot of room for people to merge, and one of the number one causes for congestion on the freeway is people merging or changing lanes. And if we can smooth out how people do that and give them more time to do so, we may actually alleviate some of those backlogs. But we know that that's not going to be enough. We're going to need more capacity on those highways. So, Supervisor,
extra lanes, you're saying?
Exactly. That's exactly what that is. Capacity equals more lanes on the freeway. So what we're looking at on the 10 is a long-term project to add express lanes, just like you see today on the 91 or the I-15 or the 10 in San Bernardino County, to bypass traffic and give people another option. It'll take many years for that to get started, but we've got to get somewhere, and that's what we're hoping to get done.
Okay, no, great. No, thank you. And I think that's going to be a great thing to have those express lanes, and then and what did you call it, Aaron? It was
ramp meters.
Ramp meters. And I know sometimes, because I personally, sometimes you get a little flustered, right, if there's a lot of people and then, you're waiting for the red and then the green. But research does show that it actually helps, right?
Yeah. So just imagine, you've probably been in these situations where everyone floods onto the freeway at once. Not only does your lane on the on-ramp back up, but so does that right-hand lane of the freeway back up.
Yeah.
You have people that aren't moving fast merging with people who are moving fast, and it creates a lot of conflict. So the idea of a ramp meter is to space it out a little bit, give people more space, and make the traffic go smoother.
Okay. No, that sounds like a plan there. Yeah. So we actually were able to. I was able to vote on that project. I believe it was last Monday.
Last Wednesday.
Yeah, last Wednesday. It was last Wednesday. So, all right. Thanks, Ian. And next question.
All right, we've got Lacey up next asking why is there so much traffic on the 60/215? So another traffic roads question here from Lacey.
No, thank you, Lacey, for that question. Even growing up in Moreno Valley, I want to say even since I was a kid, right, we've improved that freeway. We've tried to work on a lot of different things. We did a bridge going, 2 bridges there. That is a good question, Aaron, and I've gotten that question from other people too. I don't know can you address this a little bit? I mean, as an expert in transportation, why do we have all that traffic there?
There are so many reasons why. We could have a whole call about just that. It has to do with there are so many people choosing to live here. You and your neighbors find this to be a great community, and our region is growing. Riverside County is 2.5 million people, and in the next 3 decades, we will grow by another 500,000 people.
Wow.
So just imagine another city the size of Moreno Valley being added to Riverside County. And so at the 60 and the 215, you're at the crossroads of Riverside County. You have people from Temecula and Hemet and Paris coming to the north. You have people from Riverside and Jurupa Valley coming from the east. You have people traveling between LA and the desert, and it's all converging right there. And you have trucks, you have the growth of the goods movement industry. You have so many movements going on in one small space.
So it sounds like a lot of reasons, like you said, it's a very complex issue. However, though, I do know that in our CTC, which I serve as a commissioner on, Aaron, that we have what's called the Mid-County Parkway Project.
Yes.
And my understanding is when that project gets built out, which is right where Ramona Expressway is called. It's just a fancy way of, so instead of saying Ramona Expressway, it's going to be Mid-County Parkway.
Right.
And what that is we're going to be adding extra lanes there and almost kind of like a highway. But I think my understanding is that would maybe help alleviate just a little bit, because then some of the people wouldn't have to be traveling, like the people from Temecula that are trying to get to maybe Hemet or maybe to the Pass area, they can cross through the Mid-County Parkway.
Yep.
And then go up to 79, right?
That's exactly
right,
Supervisor. Absolutely. It would alleviate traffic on the 60 quite a bit, we believe. The Mid-County Parkway would connect the 215 freeway with the 79 in Hemet and San Jacinto when it's ultimately completed. If you look at a map today, there's a big gap on those east-west corridors on the map, and the Mid-County Parkway would do exactly that.
Yeah, and then even people from the Pass area that are trying to get to the Temecula area,
exactly.
So that would alleviate some area there of the 60 and the 215 merging. So there's a lot of great projects that are happening. And what is the time frame, Aaron, for that Mid-County Parkway project? I know it's been a long time coming.
Yep.
Want to talk a little bit about that?
Perfect timing for that question, Supervisor. Actually, last week you also voted on advancing that project with a construction management contract. We are going to start the next segment of the Mid-County Parkway this year.
Awesome.
And actually, next week I'm going to Sacramento, where the California Transportation Commission hopefully will award a whole bunch of money to that project.
Awesome.
So we can start construction of the segment in the unincorporated area just east of Paris, all the way to Warren Road, where we're going to be adding a lane in each direction to Ramona Expressway. We'll be building a median barrier. Number one issue there is safety. As you know, it can be quite a hairy drive when people are crossing the median, intentionally, unintentionally. So we will be adding shoulders, a median barrier, making it safer. It's going to be happening very near term.
Okay, great. No, thank you, and I really appreciate that response. And Ian, if you want to maybe go to any other questions.
Sure thing. We've got some more here, and I'll let everybody know, folks, we've only got about 5 minutes left in our forum, but at the end of our forum, if we didn't get to your question, the supervisor's office is really good at following up with anything you might need, so consider staying on the line at the end and leaving a voicemail message if you do need any additional support when we get to the end of the call. But let's get Rodney's question in here. He's asked me to read this one. Another roads question. He's asking, what's going to happen to the Ramona Expressway? Is it going to be a freeway? That's from Rodney, Supervisor.
Well, and I think, Aaron, is it going to technically be a freeway that we turn it over to Caltrans, or want to talk about?
Yeah, good question, Ronnie. And Supervisor, you are correct. The Mid-County Parkway will not be a freeway. It'll be a county expressway. We'll be turning it over here to our county transportation director, who's here in the room with us. But it will not be a full-fledged freeway. There will still be signals in some places, driveways in some places.
Are we planning to add any lighting around that area too? Because I've driven through that area, and it is pretty dark.
Yes, we will be adding some lighting improvements to help with safety.
Okay, great. And then the median, there is a median there that's been preventing some head-on collisions, but this would be a raised median.
Raised median concrete.
Yep, absolutely. Okay. Ian?
All righty, Supervisor. I'm going to run a quick poll here, but folks, if you wanted to give us your email address to get updates before the end, press 7 here. Give us your best email before we wrap up in a few minutes so that you can get email updates. You can also sign up on that web registration page by going to tthm.com/Riverside. And our next survey question for you is this. What is the most important issue that Moreno Valley is facing right now? Press 1 if it's homelessness, 2 if it's animal services, 3 for public safety, 4 for cost of living, and 5 for traffic. So again, what's the most important issue you see Moreno Valley facing right now? Press 1 for homelessness, 2 for animal services, 3 for public safety, 4 for the cost of living, and 5 for traffic. Thank you again. We really appreciate that feedback. And Supervisor, we've just got a few minutes left here, so I'll turn it over to you to take us to the close.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Ian, and thank you to all of the Moreno Valley residents for all of your support. I appreciate your questions, your concerns. Any questions that you asked live or even written, we will address those. And then if we didn't get to your question, we will have a list of those questions, and then what we're going to do is open up individual cases and then reach out to you. So if you hear from my staff or myself calling, it's because you left a question and we want to make sure that we address it. And if it's more related to the city, we'll do a nice warm handoff to that department as well. I want to thank you, Ian, for always being the moderator. I want to thank many of our participants that are here today, from Heidi Marshall, our Director of Housing Workforce Solutions, and Tanya Torno, our Director of the Continuum of Care, Stephanie Adams, our Deputy Director of Workforce. Even though we didn't get any questions of workforce, but still thank you for being here. And I want to thank our Fire Chief, Bill Weiser, for his responses and answers. And so he's here still. And I wanted to thank our Executive Director, Aaron Hake, from Riverside County Transportation Commission, for responding to those questions. And by the way, we're planning to do another telephone town hall, but related more to Riverside County Transportation. And I think they're going to try to do something like that in each of the supervisorial districts. So once we have that date, we will make sure to let everybody know, so we can go a little bit more into and spend the full hour talking about these regional projects, freeway projects that are really going to improve the congestion. I want to also give a shout out and thank you to Dennis Acuna. Usually he's a lot busier, in these calls. But today I think Aaron took most of those questions, so he's probably happy that Aaron's here. And all the support staff that's here and my team that's here as well for all of their hard work in putting these on. For those, like I mentioned, who didn't get a chance to speak or ask questions, don't worry. Just please feel free to reach out to my office, and we will also reach out to you if you had a question. Remember that I'm here to serve you, we are here to serve you, and we would love to hear from you. Thank you again for your time and dedication to improving our community, and may you all have a wonderful night. Thank you.